New Gran Turismo 7 update came out. 131, it has new track layouts, a few new cars, but I'm mostly interested in this. The car physics simulation model has been adjusted. You know, physics. So, Polyphony Digital is saying, new car physics, new simulation model. When Gran Turismo 7 was launched, I wasn't the biggest fan of the handling model or the force feedback. A year later, I think it's undeniable that the physics engine has improved. This update and getting a PlayStation 5 really made me have an itch to check what has been improved. Now, of course, all of this I'm going to say next can be very well wrong, can be placebo or whatever, so feel welcome to give your opinion in the comments. To test the physics, I tried a few scenarios to see what were the changes. In general, I think the physics changes feel pretty good, though I have seen some criticisms going the other way. Since I haven't completed some of the races that are available, it was a good way to try a few scenarios while at the same time getting a little bit of in-game credits. So, first time around, Giulia GTA M with both Sports Hard and Sports Soft. I think the difference is immediate. The first impression I got was that the tires feel a little more reliable in this sports built sedan. It's not a full race car, but it's something really fast. The Sports Hard on the Giulia feel easier to drive on. I don't feel the rear snapping all the time to the front, even if the lateral grip isn't really that high with these tires. It's still a difficult drive stock as the 1500 kilos are still there to dance. One thing that can be done is changing the suspension that makes the drive way better as it would be expected, more in line with the Giulia from Assetto Corsa, even if the grip release from the slip angle curve looks different and the car isn't really exactly the same. The change to a Sports Soft compound transforms the Giulia into a track-tuned focused sedan. You know, there's plenty of power, the tires are grippy, but because it is a sports sedan, there's also lots of movement to go around. The car continues to want to turn in with the rear coming into play. It's similar to Assetto Corsa, but at the same time very different because of the tires. Now let's go to a completely different car, a different mentality, a different philosophy, a tuned Yaris GR. It's four-wheel drive with a very short wheelbase. If I didn't like the car very much last year, this time around it feels like it should. It's a goat kart with bags of grip. There's a little too much grip as it definitely had significant understeer. Possibly it is the tune that needs to be modified. However, understeer has been the main criticism I've heard about this update. One of the points mentioned in the changelog is the calculations model of the suspension geometry has been adjusted. This will improve stability of the car orientation during braking and traction during acceleration. That could be very well the reason why all the cars feel more stable in the turn-in and under braking. As a rule of thumb, if the car has more understeer, it will feel safer and it will feel easier to drive. A lower powered tuned car with sports hards like the BRZ has a lot of stability. The BRZ is a stable car in reality, it's playful at the edge, and in reality there's not much difference here. Only going over the grip of the tire, especially at corner exits, the car decides to step out. And it's really the same story with a mildly tuned A86 with comfort softs. Stability has really been the name of the game in this update. Stability also went to the Group 3 cars. If the Audi LMS GT3 or Group 3 was death on wheels before, now it's reliable while still being death on wheels. First thing I've noticed was the lack of bloodlust at corner entry, something that completely threw me off in Gran Turismo 7 while this car was amazing in Gran Turismo Sport. Now, that death on wheels has been subdued to a more equal opportunity ass kicker under most circumstances. So, more stability at corner turn-in, the curbs are still deadly with this car. It is difficult, but more manageable. Another car that I tried in this class was something that was already stable, the Lexus RCF. That is a car that I'm accustomed to in Gran Turismo in Sport. Now, that one really became an understeer fest. It is really needed to change the brake bias all the way to the rear, otherwise it just won't turn in. It's a literal on-rails experience, so at this point, at least for two of these Group 3 cars, the update has been 180 degrees between them. a more manageable Grim Reaper Audi, and the car that was a little bit on a playful side but still stable became really dull. It is likely that the stock settings need to be changed, or the BOP needs to be manipulated, or further polishings are needed. The last experience was with drifting. For the life of me, I can't do it in Gran Turismo 7. The tire has still this really weird grip drop off and a very specific slip angle window to keep the car doing the Doric. The weird slip angle is true in circuit racing, but that, it's merely to keep the car under control. But it's truer in drifting because you need to control the slip to keep the car sideways. Past that angle, the grip just drops off from a cliff, and no amount of countersteer or throttle resolves this. It's really difficult for me to catch a drift. Maybe it is tune, maybe it's the tires, I've chosen a few of them, maybe it's really Gran Turismo. All I know is that in Assetto Corsa, it is easier to play with the car past the limit. As it is, the road going experience with stock cars and tuned cars is bang on impressive for me. It is extremely fun. These cars, as long as they have sports softs or below, are approachable and relatable. They are easy enough to drive, but you can't really say that this new physics package gives you the hand while driving them. I think the new update did very well thus far. So, after this quick rundown, from my experience with a few cars and scenarios, I'm really liking the update, though I'm still not totally 100% on board with it. There are definitely areas to be improved, and the criticism of understeer is a very fair one that, at least in Group 3 cars, is a bit too much. The road car experience felt for me pretty relatable. I'd be happy to go back and forth between this and the OG Assetto Corsa, no problem whatsoever. I'm really glad that Polyphony Digital have found at least a path to go with improvements, and it's likely that more changes, smaller ones, will be in the next few updates. It's not only the suspension physics that needs, at least in my opinion, to be changed. I would like the slip angle window to be revised into something that allows for a little bit more playfulness past the maximum grip, feathering the drop-off into something that is manageable, and that would be useful for multiple circumstances. Most of the times, all of these tires are not grip, 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 and then huge fall off. There's always an area where the tire can be managed, in an area where you can go just over past the slip angle and you can play with the tire. Now, I'll be doing more Gran Turismo 7 content. I think it really improved. I'm interested in it, though some things still have plenty to go. So if you want more of that type of content, Gran Turismo 7, leave a sub. And I have a couple of questions for you. What do you think about the update, and who the hell decided that saxophone sounds meant sexy time?